Trent Williams, deal done for the 49ers and the future Hall of Fame left tackle. 2 years, worth up to $50 million, and a lot of significant potential domino effects. Enough for me to do an emergency live here from the car. By the way, the 49ers now have comfortable space to potentially trade Brandon Aiyuk before June 1st. This week, if they want a draft pick, and if they're offered, obviously, a draft pick for Brandon Aiyuk, they now have more option power because this has opened up a lot of salary cap space. But I will explain with the key number. It is not 2 years. It is not $50 million. It is $37 million fully guaranteed for Trent Williams in this new contract. So he's now under contract with the 49ers through next season, through 2027. It had previously only been 2026, and it had been at no guaranteed money. He had been scheduled for about $32.5 million in base salary this year, but none of that was guaranteed. The last time that the 49ers went through this dance with Trent Williams was in 2024. In order to make sure that everything was good, they gave him 2 years with $48 million fully guaranteed right before the start of the season. So it's $24 million fully guaranteed per year. This time it's the 2 years with $37 million fully guaranteed. So cheaper than it was last time by $11 million. To be expected. Trent is going to be 38 years old on July 19th. So that's the needle that the 49ers had to thread. They had to guarantee money, obviously more money than just the 2026 salary. They had to guarantee money into 2027 when Trent's going to be 39 years old. They didn't want to guarantee too much because if you do that for somebody who's going to be 39, you could really pay for it. But he's still playing at an elite level. He is the 49ers, or any team really. He's their best option at left tackle. The 49ers were never just going to cut him, and a trade was extremely unlikely because finding somebody to improve your left tackle situation or improving your team when losing Trent Williams would be a nearly impossible proposition. So they had to find a way, because Trent had leverage by being so important and so good to the 49ers. The 49ers had leverage because he was under contract through 2026. They had to find a way to thread the needle. Both sides wanted the same outcome. They got the outcome. Trent Williams, 2 years, up to $50 million, $37 million fully guaranteed, less than 2024. This will open up over $20 million of 2026 salary cap space for the 49ers. A couple other notes: that he becomes the first non-quarterback in NFL history to surpass $400 million in contracts and $225 million in guarantees. Remember back in 2021, Trent Williams signed with the 49ers a 6-year deal worth up to $138.06 million. It was a record. It edged out David Bakhtiari by just a little bit. A lot of people at the time said, Trent's not going to finish out this deal for the 49ers. He's too old. Well, he's now guaranteed to play all 6 years of that 2021 deal. And the 49ers have added guaranteed money into an additional 7th season, 2027. They've given him a raise in 2024. They give him, I would say, another raise here in 2026. It lowers the salary cap hit, yes, but that was just funny money in 2026 that had previously been scheduled this year. It was always understood that Trent and the 49ers would come to the table this offseason if they wanted to continue this relationship, and they have indeed done that now. Now, speaking of the salary cap, the 49ers had about $18 million before this. They had parked the cap hit at $46.3 million, which was really big. This is going to slash that number down into the 20s. It's going to save about $20 million, maybe a little bit more. The 49ers now will have close to $40 million in 2026 cap space, and it's going to enable them to very comfortably trade Brandon Aiyuk if they get an offer before June 1st. If you trade Brandon Aiyuk prior to June 1st, you have to take the entire $29.6 million dead money hit this season. So you better have enough money to do that. If you trade him after June 1st, you're only taking a dead money hit of a little bit over $8 million this season. The 49ers were starting to run a little bit low on salary cap space when Trent was at the $46 million number. So this extension was really necessary to open up 2026 salary cap space. You spread the money into the future like an accordion, right? That's how the salary cap works in this league. It's like that accordion structure. The signing and the option bonuses stretch out over the term of 5 years. The 49ers have done a lot of this work on Williams' contract. It's going to bring his hit in line with somebody like Nick Bosa's, who's down in the 20s now. He did a simple restructure. This was not a simple restructure. This was an additional, an adding of guaranteed money, and obviously an adding of a year, which is another year of team control for the 49ers. As far as the draft goes, something like 75% of mock drafts had the 49ers picking a left tackle, which is a great example of the groupthink that dominates this process. People saw what they perceived to be contractual drama between Trent Williams and the 49ers, even though it wasn't all that dramatic. And they said, well, they're going to have to pick an offensive tackle in the first round. No, they're not. They can still pick an offensive lineman, but the only likely offensive line pick for the 49ers early in this draft was somebody who could play guard, that left guard position now, and then move out to Trent Williams' left tackle position later. That was the only way, and that's a tough needle to thread, so that's not likely to happen at 27. Caden Proctor can probably do it. We talk about Maxi Ionachor, so it's tough to pronounce his name, out of Arizona State. He could probably do it, but he still has a lot of development in front of him because he only played on the right side for Arizona State. The bottom line is that we live in an era of focused positional responsibility along the offensive line. Tackles have got long arms, big strides. Obviously Trent Williams is the prototype. Guards are more compact. You're looking for a little bit more power, so that probably disqualifies somebody like Caleb Lomu, whom a lot of people have been talking about. But these offensive linemen specialize in their positions, and the 49ers want a specialist for tackle, and the 49ers want a specialist for guard. If you could find somebody who could play both, fine. I mean, that would be great for a succession plan, but it just isn't that likely to hit. So I think that the 49ers are going to receiver, defensive line. I predict defensive line, but we'll see what happens at 27 in the first round. Bottom line is to make this team as good as possible in 2026. Trent Williams had to be an active participant on the roster. And then we could talk about timing right now, because in 2024, he didn't sign this deal until about a week before the start of the regular season. And Trent told me a week later, after he signed it, I'm standing there in the locker room with him after the game against the Jets, the opener against the Jets. Trent told me that his tongue was cramping. Yeah, his tongue. It's like, dude, my tongue was cramping because he had not yet built up into the proper football shape. The fact that Trent signs now, the offseason program for the 49ers begins today. The fact that he signs now is big because he's going to be involved in practices and football activities throughout all of training camp. Maybe he's even going to do a little bit during OTAs. He doesn't have to do much during OTA, but maybe he doesn't even show up. We'll see what happens. That's insignificant. Training camp is significant, though, especially at this age. So that's a big win for the 49ers. Think of the contractual business cycle that San Francisco has achieved over the past 2 off seasons. George Kittle, Fred Warner, Brock Purdy, all done in spring last year, all done way before training camp. Trent Williams was this offseason's piece of contractual business, done April 20th, also done in spring this year. So the 49ers are no longer letting these contractual situations hold them hostage far into the summer, which had been an issue in the past. It obviously was an issue with Brandon Aiyuk, who we're talking about right now, in 2024, and it's just something that San Francisco is finding a way to overcome sooner this year, which I think is very, very significant. So busy offseason for the 49ers. They've extended Trent Williams. They've signed Mike Evans. They've signed Christian Kirk. They've re-signed Dre Greenlaw. He's back in the fold. They've traded for Osa Odigizua. They've re-signed Eddie Pinheiro, and obviously the new defensive coordinator for the 49ers is Raheem Morris. He's going to talk at the rookie minicamp for the 49ers coming up soon. The 49ers probably, and I've been saying this throughout the whole offseason, will not be trading Mac Jones. According to Adam Schefter, he's not expected to be traded because his market never really materialized. That's good for the 49ers. I've maintained that you want to keep the best backup in the league. I mean, that's what he was last year. You want to make sure that quarterback room is as strong as possible, because what this Trent Williams move tells us is that the 49ers are pushing all the chips in, all the reasonable chips in, we'll put it that way. They're not burning the ships, nor should they burn the ships, but they're pushing the chips in with a veteran-focused 2026. They spent last offseason renovating the roster with youth. Now they are doubling down on some future Hall of Fame older players. Mike Evans is one of them. Trent Williams is another one of them. I mean, Dre Greenlaw is a veteran on the defensive side of the ball. So the 49ers are definitely solidifying the veterans. Offensively, this guarantees they're going to be the oldest offense in the league. The youth renovation, I think, is going to start in earnest probably next offseason, but they can really begin by infusing some young talent in this draft. And defensively, they used their first 5 picks of last season's draft on defensive players. Well, defensively, the 49ers are the 3rd youngest unit in the league. So you could see how they're building this team. Offense, the locomotive that pulls the train. Trent Williams, obviously a key part of the engine of that locomotive that you need to have, because he is, I mean, the record with and without Trent Williams is staggering for the 49ers. They are way above 500 when they've had him ever since 2020. They are well below 500 when they haven't had him. He is one of the most valuable players in football. They have him at a fair rate, $37 million fully guaranteed over the next 2 years. You do the quick math on that, 36 divided by 2, that's 18 million. So it's $18.5 million. That ranks probably around number 10 of all tackles. Now, if he makes all 20 million, it's not even all 25 million per year, all 50 million over the next 2 years. That comes out to a top 5 tackle number, which is exactly what Trent Williams is worth. That's exactly where he is graded out for San Francisco. He's already getting congratulations from Kyle Juszczyk and company, and the 49ers are moving forward into this NFL draft looking like they have filled all of the veteran holes and all the veteran questions that they needed to fill. Now it's time for San Francisco to start exercising those 6 picks, and we'll see if any movement on Brandon Aiyuk happens. But with more than $20 million freed up through this Trent Williams maneuver, with the future solidified right now, the near-term future solidified at left tackle, with all this avalanche of business happening and Trent done early, the 49ers can enter these 6 picks of the NFL draft with confidence. Buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a busy week. Emergency update from the car, signing off. We'll talk to you soon.